Hello, everybody. Welcome back. I'm Natalie, also known as Femme Tarot. I'm your international psychic medium and energy reader. And I just want to say welcome back and welcome to anyone who's new here. Welcome to the family. How is everyone doing this Sunday? Before we start, we're just gonna, as you know, we're gonna wait for people to come into the chat, enter the room. I just wanted to say a big, warm, heartfelt thank you for all the love, all of the birthday wishes. I couldn't reply to all of you, but I just wanted to come here today and say thank you. I appreciate that. It really made my birthday special. It was a weird birthday, I have to say. I wasn't really in a birthday mood. I want to say, like, we did, like, the family, the kids, um we cut we I blew out my candles, the candles on my cake. We had sushi, we had all that, but usually every year I celebrate with a big bang with all my friends, with my family, with everyone. This year I kind of didn't wasn't feeling it that much. Nothing, I'm fine, but it was just, I don't know, it just, there's this nagging feeling I have that this is not a time to celebrate. And what do I mean by that before anyone freaks out? I mean that it's just, there's so many energies around, there's so many things happening in the world, there's so many massive, huge changes happening and will be happening in the next couple of months, especially March and April, that I was just not in the mood. I was like, there's no point. I've had 27 years celebrating my birthday. This year, maybe we just keep it on the down low, and that's fine. That's fine. We do put pressure on ourselves that we need to do something big and celebrate and blah, 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 and make everyone else happy around us. No, you celebrate your birthday, your solar return, in any way that makes you feel happy and special that day. If it's just getting a massage or going and getting a facial or just booking a solo trip for yourself, do it. We're not here to please everyone else. It's our birthday and we celebrate it the way that we want to. So, yeah. All right, how is everyone doing? I'm excited because I also have something I want to share with you. I did share it with the members on Friday. I did a members live. If you're not a member, maybe you should become a member. Because we do lightning tower readings over there, and we talk about things very much unfiltered, and I take your questions, and it's very informal, it's very casual, it's just really hanging out with friends. So, and the way you can do that is you join by, hold on, let me just take this one out. Thank you. So how you do that is there is a join button under any one of my videos. It's more visible, or it works on the computer rather than the phone. So that's how you become a member. But I also have a membership / subscription, which is called the Inner Circle membership. And that you pay a subscription every month. And with that, you gain so many perks. Like, you get discounts from psychic readings. You have access to me if you need an emergency reading. You get emails every week, and monthly you get monthly tarot forecasts on your in your inbox. So many things. Everything is linked down below, or all the details are down below in the description box. So, yeah. And one last thing before we start, just a reminder to please do subscribe, or do like this video, and do subscribe if you've just stumbled upon this video and you like this type of content, because there is a lot of different types of content in this channel. And I'm sure you will find them very useful, very informative, very insightful. So yes, please join the family by subscribing to this channel. All right, how is everyone doing? Yes, join the Femme Village. That's what we are. We're building our own Femme Village, and eventually we're going to become a Femme Nation. And we're going to be here for each other, and there's not going to be any negativity, anything. This is a safe space. We're here for each other. We're a family. All right. All right. Thanks, Val. Thank you. I feel so much at peace when I have Val in the chat. And as we start, because she gives me the tech check, and I appreciate that. Thank you. But it seems that things have smoothened out. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you, everybody. Right. It's never a bad idea. You just go with a thing. Because every year I always felt like I have to do something big, and it's a little bit of this ego that sort of jumps in front and says, I want to be celebrated. I want to be the special person this day. I want everybody to be around me and, give me love and shower me with compliments, whatever it is. No, I'm not feeling it this year. Ego's gone. And it should not that I don't have ego. I am a human being. I do, but I am very conscious when I react or say things from the ego side of things rather than the more not spiritual things, but more of the like logic and rational thinking. Thank you, Sage. Thank you, everybody. Thank you, thank you, thank you. I love seeing you. It always makes my day, my week, when I see you guys here and we just catch up and we just chat. And yeah. And the reason why I chose Kurt Cobain and Courtney Love today as a reading, I mean, he's been on my list. As you know, I have a growing list of readings and content that I want to create for you guys. But Kurt, Michael Jackson, Kurt Cobain, Eminem a little bit later in my life have been sort of played their music really, and them as personalities really influenced my life in a very positive way for various reasons that I'm not going to get into right now. And because Kurt died at the age of 27. And as you know, I'm always celebrating my perpetual 27th birthday. I thought it's very fitting. I felt like doing it. I think the time is now. I've been trying to connect with him the whole day. I haven't really. I'm hoping. I've asked my guides for help, so I'm hoping he will pop in during this reading. We'll see. We'll see. But what I did connect with slightly, not really strongly, was Courtney's energy. So that's going to be very interesting. It's very controversial, the way that Kurt unfortunately passed. There are a lot of, well, there are not a lot of rumors circulating. There's one rumor circulating, which is that Courtney Love was behind it, and that there's so many theories going around. It was impossible for him to unalive himself using the pew pew, especially with the amount of heroin he had in his system, in his body. No one would be able to function with that amount of substances in his body. So there's a lot of questions and a lot of, I'm not going to call them conspiracy theories, but rumors about his note, his unaliving note that was left behind. So we're going to look at all this, but I want to start off by looking at their relationship. Their relationship didn't last that long. When I was younger, so it was, I don't know, I was like 14, 15 when he passed. Nirvana, even though they're huge, even to this day, even like 30 years later, we're still talking about Nirvana. There are people that are massive fans of Kurt Cobain, Nirvana, the music, all of it. There are documentaries, there's so much. But Nirvana wasn't around for long, which is interesting because at the time, it felt like Nirvana had been around for a very long time. They were around for about 4 years, 5 years, if I'm not mistaken. And also, Kurt's relationship with Courtney was only 3 years, about 3 years. And it seemed like forever. It seemed like they were, a couple for a very, very long time at the time. So, yeah, I don't remember the details. I remember that I was crying. Yes, I was crying. Yeah, I was one of those who was crying when we heard the news. And I remember I came back from school and my mom announced it to me because she knew I was a big fan. At the time, I was a big fan of Guns N' Roses, Axl Rose. I had a crush on him. Everything was Guns N' Roses. I would wear like the t-shirts and everything, Nirvana as well. Kurt Cobain, again, Michael Jackson, all of it. But I remember that I came home, I returned home from school, and my mom said, Natalie, I have really bad news. And really at that point, I thought, oh my God, something happened to my grandma or my grandfather. My mom's like, it's Kurt Cobain. He passed. And there are many questions around how he passed, et cetera, et cetera. So it was a huge blow. It was a huge shock. I was crying. My besties were crying with me because I remember we were calling each other back then. We had landlines. That was 27 years ago. And we had landlines. And I remember we'd call each other and we were like, oh my God, Kurt's dead. All of that. So, but I do have to say that not at the time, but years later, when I think I watched a documentary. There was a documentary a few years after his passing, after what happened to him. And I remember I was watching it and it was very against Courtney, to the point where it was like insinuating that she was indeed behind that. And I remember I was just like, I'm not sure, I mean, Courtney's not likable and definitely very toxic relationship. We know all the stories. We've seen all the videos and the pictures. They were a disaster zone, the two of them, because they would do substances and a lot of substances. And it was very, very toxic. But I remember I was like, I'm not sure. Even though at the time I myself, I was a teenager, right? I wanted to believe that she was behind it because like anyone who was a Nirvana fan, we just did not like Courtney. We felt like she was bringing out the worst out of him. She was the reason why he wanted to quit Nirvana, wanted to quit the music industry. And she just, I remember we just didn't like her. The fans did not like her. She was a mess. She was a toxic mess. Not that Kurt wasn't. But listen, years later now, I'm not that big a fan, meaning I'm not that little girl who's like fangirling over Kurt and all that. So we're going to look at things with a fresh third eye. We're going to look at the relationship and hopefully we're going to get some answers regarding what happened. What I want to look at mostly, aside from the energy and the relationship, is what was going on through his head before all this happened. So it's going to be interesting reading, to say the least. So I can see that everyone's saying, I cried too. It was so sad. I cried with Michael Jackson. I cried with Kurt. Who else did I cry for? I don't remember anymore. Those two were, I'm not a crier. I do cry. I'm sensitive, but I'm not a crier where I'm going to cry about someone that I don't know and hasn't affected or influenced my life in any positive way. But they did influence my life in a positive way. Music does that, and music is vibrational. So, you want to see a picture of me from this period? Oh my God, I was going through my grunge, heavy metal period. You wouldn't recognize me. I had long blonde hair up to nearly my butt, and I was really channeling the Axl Rose styling of it all. Bandana, perfecto leather jacket, Doc Martens, ripped jeans, t-shirts, t-shirts from all the bands that I loved at the time. Maybe I can do that for a member's live where I just bring up some old pictures of me, because we laugh here about all the jobs that I had and all these careers that I had in the past and the many lives that I've lived, which is going to go in a book eventually. But it's interesting because even my styling, the way I wore my hair and my styling in general has changed so much throughout the years. And I've been through all of it. The heavy metal stage, I went through a stage where I was very feminine, at a point, meaning very feminine, sort of wearing always like skirts and knee-high boots and long socks, knee-high socks as well. I've been through it all. I'd like, yeah, but definitely my teen years were a little bit darker, and I would wear a lot of black, gray, always pink. There was, even through my emo dark period, there was always something pink on me. So yeah, whether it was like a pink bandana, for instance, pink socks, something like that, pink shoes, I would wear a lot. I would be like all black and pink shoes. That was my thing as well at the time. Anyways, so that would be fun. That's a good idea. Maybe we can do that at some point and just embarrass myself to everyone. But I love you guys. I'm transparent. I'm open. I'm happy to share very, very cringy past photos of me. I'm gonna get my mom maybe to join on that live, because my mom asked to join the channel and the live, because she also has a YouTube channel. But I've made some suggestions to my mom and how to change things a little bit on her channel. And then when she does that, I'll drop a link for you guys if you want to maybe support my mom. But she needs to make some changes. She talks about mythological creatures and mythology a lot, but she's not using her face. And she uses, she writes her scripts, but she uses this no face voice. And I told her, nowadays faceless YouTube channels do not work, because people hate them because they think they are AI. So she needs to work on that. All right. So it felt like Nirvana was together forever, right? It did feel like it was forever. The teen spirit, the deodorant. I had it all. I had the t-shirts, the posters, loved it. Val says, I think he was in despair. Okay, well, I'm gonna pull up their charts before we start. Hi, Christina. Hi. Yes, I know they had a daughter. They're still huge. The music is still on. And you know what surprises me? That Gen Zers, like my daughter is a Zetter, she knows who Nirvana are. But obviously she has a mom that listens to a lot of music. We play a lot of music in the house, and she listens to everything. So she knows. She even knows like 70s bands, like the Doobie Brothers, or Pink Floyd is another one. A lot of like Fleetwood Mac, the Grateful Dead. They're familiar with those bands. But it's interesting because her bestie, my daughter's bestie, knows Nirvana and loves Nirvana. And whenever I pick her up, and whenever I take the girls somewhere, or I have her here or in the car, she always asks to listen to Nirvana. And they're 13. So yes, they have left. Kurt has definitely left a legacy behind him, and I'm happy for that. But I think it's time for us to kind of see what was going on, what happened, and just take it from there, especially for us, the Nirvana fans and the Kurt Cobain fans. All right, let's bring up their charts. Okay, keep moving. I'm going to get a new chair because this chair is so uncomfortable. I have back problems. And this chair is just very rigid, and it's not. That's why sometimes I know it can be annoying for people when they see me just moving around my chair, but that's the reason, just letting you know. Okay, so let me bring up Kurt's. You guys, he has a lot of water. So as you can see, he has Sun in Pisces, Moon in Cancer, Venus in Pisces, Mercury in Pisces. Look at this, you guys. Look at this. Mars in Scorpio. This is a water filled, water dominant, not filled, water dominant chart. Let me look at it. His ascendant is Virgo. When I looked at his chart really quickly, when I pulled it up from the internet, I was like, whoa, Kurt, with all of that and those placements and even those degrees, I'll bring it back up in a second for you guys to see it again. Very psychic, intuitive. His songs, his poetry, his lyrics, all of it, he was channeling. He was channeling. And very sensitive soul to the energies around him. Very good at reading people. That's the other thing about Kurt Cobain. When I looked at his chart, like really, you don't need to have deep knowledge of astrology to really see that in his chart. Even intuitively, you can see that his Pluto, which is, as you know, the planet of death and rebirth, on his 12th house retrograde. 12th house, you guys, is the spiritual house, the house of death as well, in some the house of rebirth as well. So tough. It, and with all that water in his chart, it's no surprise that he had addiction issues and he was deep into the substances. You see that a lot with water dominant charts. They are people who, because they are highly sensitive to what is going on around them, they do tend to, they're escapists, right? They want to escape reality. So a lot of them do use substances to numb or to what they think is control these feelings and these insights as well that they're receiving. Very troubled soul for sure, Kurt Cobain. And let me see. I'm looking at his Venus and his Mars because this is important when we're looking at sort of like the compatibility and the synastry between him and Courtney. So he has Mars in Scorpio and Venus in Pisces. Let's look at Courtney's. So another one who has quite a bit of water, but not water dominant. She is a Cancer sun, Cancer moon, ascendant in Libra. And I'll explain why I mean that. And then she has Venus in Gemini, Mars in Gemini. Let me see real quick. Chiron and Black Moon in Sagittarius. Wow. So we can tell straight off the bat who was the dominant person in that relationship. And that was definitely Courtney. And Courtney, with the Gemini and Venus and Mars, and Kurt having his Venus in Pisces and his Mars in... First of all, this was very much a karmic relationship, okay? But here's the thing. Courtney having Gemini, very unstable, hot and cold. So I believe that she was, let me bring this up. You never know. I want to say things freely. I believe she was verbally, and this is my opinion, I believe that she was verbally abusive towards Kurt. And I believe she was abusive towards Kurt. And I'm not saying that he wasn't to her, because I do sense that he was, but I feel this was retaliation or just a way to punish her. So he wasn't the one who initiated the abuse, but he would give it back. Okay. She was with that Gemini, both Venus and Mars, she wanted, the ideal guy for Courtney would be someone who gives her constant attention, someone who communicates, who's a good communicator and communicates his feelings, communicates his plans, communicates his thoughts, all of it. Kurt, with all that water, he wasn't the type. He was very much the introvert. He was very much like, I want to absorb what I'm picking up or what I'm seeing or what is happening to me. I want to absorb it and process it and figure out what to do or what the solution is or what to do next. And she didn't like that. She did not like that because she would get very, very insecure about what is he thinking? What is he doing next? She wanted to be the boss, and she was the boss in the relationship, but she also wanted to be the boss in his life and his career, music career, and everything. All right. She also let me bring that back because I don't remember. I want to refresh my memory real quick. She's got let me see. She's got Mercury in Leo. She wants to be the star. She wanted to be the star. So Mercury is how we communicate. It's travel, communication. Our studies as well can fall into that, into Mercury. But here's the thing. With having Mercury in Leo means that she believed that by being with Kurt, because she met Kurt, or they started this relationship when he was already Nirvana and he was already famous. She believed, she wanted to take some of that fame or that attention away from him. She was also a singer. She was also part of a band. She had her own band, but it didn't go anywhere. No one cared about her music. No one cared about her band. And that she did not like. So what did she do? She would bring him down. She would demean him, belittle him, all of it. Okay? Because if she tarnished or if she bruised his self-confidence, that means that he would listen to her more and follow her instructions and her plans and whatever she had in mind. So very turbulent relationship, very toxic. Can you imagine? Put all that, take all that and add the substances on top of that. A disaster. And I'm going to come out and say it. I'm surprised that neither of them really harmed each, especially her, but both of them, to the point where it could have gotten serious, because that's what I'm picking up energetically. Because as you know, I already prepped for this reading before I came on by meditating and asking my guides to help me with this reading, especially as I could not connect to Kurt. I can slightly feel his energy, but he's not here. So I feel some kind of resistance from him to come forward. I don't know why, but hopefully a lot of times this is what happens. But as we start, they might come through. So we'll see. Val says no one that knew them thought, no one, even the fans, even us, we could tell that this was a very, very toxic, bad relationship. Sun and Moon in 9th house in Cancer. She was controlled by her emotion. Her Black Moon, 2nd house, is not good. Yeah, she's not. Yeah. Thank you for analyzing. I don't want to spend too much time analyzing the houses, but you're absolutely right, Anais. Exactly. She was controlled by her emotions. So was he, but she was a lot more impulsive. She would allow those emotions to take over, whereas Kurt, would internalize those emotions and he would channel these emotions through his music. But it got too much for him by the end. The substance abuse, the abuse at home in the relationship. He was a dad at the time that he passed. He unalived himself. So he wanted out of the music, and it wasn't just Nirvana that he wanted out, because there was nothing wrong. Nirvana would, they were doing fantastic. They were at their peak at the time this happened. But I believe he wanted to quit the music industry because she destroyed that for him. She would always like be in his ear and don't trust this guy, do this and do that, don't say that, do. She would not leave him alone. She will not leave him to make his own decisions and decide what's best for him. So at the end, he was convinced that this was the music industry. And we've talked about the music industry and the record labels and how evil and bad and manipulative they can be, especially towards talent. But here's the thing, he wanted out because he just wanted peace. He couldn't find peace. This is all of the stuff that I was getting before I came on. I'm going to answer your questions, everyone, Peapod, and there is someone else, Angalag, as well, that it has posted a question. I'll get to yours a bit later. I have highlighted them, so I'm not going to figure it out how I'm not going to miss your questions, you guys, on StreamYard. So Nice also says she had her part of fortune in the first house, so she's going to do money with her images. Precisely. Okay. Oh, wait, no, Peabody, I just realized that. Does that mean they chose to be together in this life to teach it? Yeah, they had unfinished business. I do believe that they're going to next lifetime. They're going to try again. They are going to try again. The other thing I am picking up about Kurt is that if this hadn't happened at the age of 27, it would have happened at the age of 29. Remember, I've talked about in past videos, and I've talked about this ad nauseum, about the 5 exit points that we have as a soul. So when we decide on our soul, on our life path, and our soul's journey here on earth, just before we enter our human bodies, what we do is we sit around with a council, the elders and our guides, and we decide everything. Everything has been pre-planned. And when I mean everything, not every minute details, just like tarot, right? You have the major arcana and then you have the minor arcana. The major arcana, which is the Fool, the Death card, the Tower card, the Star, etc., is when in a tarot reading, when you get major arcana, those have been pre-planned before you came into the earth plane, into this life. So everything is pre-planned and you have to go through these. Okay. It's just like checkpoints in your life. You have checkpoints that you need to reach, you have to reach, and you will reach. Everything in between, the minor arcana, which is the swords, the suits, all of it, means that these are your daily, everyday energies. And because we do have free will, we can change those, and we can have some kind or somewhat of a control of what is happening in our lives. So in their case, it feels like it's, oh yeah, sorry, I was talking about the 5 points. So those are the 5 points. So when we decide and we agree on our life plan, right, our guides, our elders say, okay, these are your 5 exit points. Okay, you, by the 5th, there's no, you're going, and you have no choice in how you're going to exit. So even by miracle, whatever it is, you don't exit the first time, the second time, the third time, or the 4th time, 5th time, you're going out. It might not be the way that you want to, the way that you've agreed on. So, yes, going back to him. So this was his exit point. This was his first exit point, and he chose to leave. He chose to go. His second one would have been on his 29th birthday. So if he hadn't passed on the 27th, he would have passed on the 29th birthday. So yes, they chose to be in this life together. There are things, and a lot of times karmic relationships are heavy, they're toxic, because it's a lot of lessons. It's like an overload of lessons that you didn't learn last time and the past life that you were together. And when I mean together in that lifetime, that relationship, whether it is a couple, mother and child, father and child, grandchild with a grandparent, etc., or friendships even as well. So yes, they were here to not teach each other, but more so for their soul to learn from their past mistakes and things that they didn't work on. Yes, Pisces are very sensitive to criticism, 100%. And when you have a heavy Pisces chart, wow, very sensitive. I also pick up Kurt's energy as being sort of childlike sometimes. I know we didn't see that side of him ever, but there was that side of him as well. Someone who was not shy, crying in front of people. He did cry a lot because I do see him in fetal position crying at times. And uh, he got a lot of criticism. The criticism that he got outside of his relationship, meaning I'm sure he got criticism from his manager or the record label or people who did not like Nirvana or grunge at the time, and they would just, judge Kurt Cobain because he was a huge star at the time. Yeah, that type of criticism he was able to handle, but it was more so the criticism came from his loved ones, Courtney included, and she knew that, so she knew exactly which button to press, and she was always like, poking. She wanted to get reactions from him because that was validating to her. That was what validated. Courtney needed Kurt to validate his love to her, but because he was very much an introvert and very much into his feels, and he spent a lot of time alone, he was very much emo. She didn't like that. So she would poke in a very bad way. She would really rile him up and stuff to get a reaction from him. And that to her was validation. He loves me. He cares. That's why he's reacting. That's why he's even when he would like swear to her or, threaten to like hit her or whatever it was, she was like, yeah, he loves me. He still cares. So yeah, very, very, very turbulent relationship. What is the, we'll get to that. I'm going to highlight your question, lady. Okay, so let's see what is coming through. So I'm going to pull 3 cards for Kurt. I'll show you the cards, and 3 cards for Courtney. And then between them, I'm going to pull one more card, which is the energy between those two, because I want to see what Courtney's energy was like towards Kurt and the relationship, his towards Courtney and the relationship. And then I just want to see what the actual energy was between them, what was going on. Okay, I'll show you the cards as always. I'm trying to figure out how I need to buy a new kind of stand because I want to bring back the tarot cam. I do have a nice little tripod here, but very soon I will figure out how I'm going to do this because unfortunately when I use the tripod, then the camera, it blocks the camera and all that. But I need to figure it all out. But I want to bring the tarot cam because I know this is helpful and you guys like it. Okay. Whoa. Okay. I wasn't even asking the question. Okay, so 55 in the room. Don't forget to like this video. And replay crew, don't forget to just add a comment down below. It helps a lot with the algorithm. That's all I'm asking you guys. You can comment whatever you want. If you don't want to comment anything, you can comment by adding an emoji, the sparkly pink heart emoji, a star emoji, whatever it is. It just helps the algorithm. With the algorithm, not the algorithm. We don't want to help the algorithm. Okay. Oh, Peapod loves the ASMR. Okay, so I'm starting with Kurt's going to be first, then it's going to be Courtney. Okay, Kurt. Okay. Courtney. Oh my Lord, it makes sense. Makes sense. It validates what we've been saying. Okay, and what we've been suspecting. All right, Kurt's energy. Knight of Swords. Knight of Swords. Listen, he wanted an escape from the real world, but he also wanted an escape from that relationship. Knight of Swords is someone. Listen, swords is very much. It can be thoughts. It can be words. It can be someone who's very good with words. Someone who's very good with writing lyrics and poetry. That's Kurt. We know that. And the Knight of Swords just indicates that the Knight of Swords is very fast energy as well. It feels to me that from the moment he met Courtney, it was whirlwind. It just, everything happened very, very fast. There was a lot of passion in the relationship, lovers. He was attracted to her. There was sexual attraction for sure and passion. And he looked up to her. This is what I'm also picking up. He saw a strong woman. She was a musician herself. She was very intelligent, good with words. She's very good with words. She's a good communicator. She also has a lot of Gemini, and she has Mercury in Leo. So she knows how to use words to get what she wants. He loved all of that. Him being more shy. Yeah, I know it's surprising, but he was a shy person. So let's see. Two of Swords. Ooh, he knew. Two of Swords a lot of times is like, I turn a blind eye, or I close my eyes to something that I don't want to see and I don't want to deal with. So there are two parts here with this Two of Swords. There was this, in fact, I keep wanting to say infatuation. And I do believe that in the beginning, he was somewhat infatuated by her, by Courtney. Definitely there was attraction, sexual attraction. And I'm pretty sure that's what she used, aside from stimulating his intellect. I'm pretty sure she used her sexuality to really entangle him. Hold on, you guys. Your questions I will read. I'm highlighting. I'll read in a minute. So he knew that she wasn't good for him, that he could see. I feel was more intuitive. He intuitively knew that this was not going to last. This relationship was not going to last, and that Courtney was not there for the long run. I'm getting. There was one little voice telling him, a voice in one ear telling him, this is not good for you. This is a toxic relationship. You should get out. She is pulling wool over your eyes. That's also something I'm hearing at the moment. And she's also, but on the other hand, he felt kind of like trapped, or kind of like it wasn't easy for him to leave the relationship. It wasn't. He did love her. He was into her. It wasn't as if, it wasn't just sexual. There were feelings there for sure, but he also was aware that this was toxic and what she was doing, but he was also kind of like turning a blind eye and not wanting to deal with it, like sweeping things under the rug as well. Let's see what else comes through. He couldn't find a balance. There was no balance in that relationship. And that was one of the main issues that he had. It was that he didn't find that things were fair, equal, and that there was generally a balance. He couldn't find his balance. For him, for Kurt, a relationship meant that we're partners, and we're here to help each other grow. We're here to offer a safe space to each other. But he didn't feel that. Even from the very, very beginning of this relationship, he never felt that way. He never felt that there was that he could find balance with her. But at first he did trust her because she was very good. She's very good at presenting herself. This is something else I'm seeing. Let me look at her cards and then I'll give you some more stuff that I'm picking up and is coming through. You guys, the first card for Courtney was Seven of Cups. You know, Seven of Cups, it's all an illusion, as the song says, and as the song goes. It's the illusion card. It is someone who's very chaotic in her thinking, someone who's very chaotic in general. I'm feeling she wasn't. I don't feel that about Kurt, despite the fact that they both abused substances. But I do see that she was not honest. She was not, like, she had a lot of secrets and a lot of things that she would hide from him. And she knew how to put, so here's what I just got. So Courtney she was very different when it was just the two of them, Kurt and Courtney, and she presented herself very differently when other people were around. And I don't mean like the close friends or family. I mean acquaintances, musicians, band members, etc. It felt like she put on an act. I'm also seeing that she used a lot, because I'm literally hearing, I told you, I pick up more of Courtney's energy than I do Kurt's, which is interesting. But I also picking up that she uses this, like, baby tone, like, oh, how they do this pussycat thing where they think of Paris Hilton and how she fakes her voice. She's always faked her voice. Lately, last few years, she doesn't. She uses her real voice. Well, that's what she does when she wants to get something. She would just go all like cutesy and baby dolly and all of that. So she knew how to press his buttons and she knew exactly how to get him where she wanted him to. I also got the Emperor, which is Emperor is the dad card, strategy card. The Emperor is someone who's very, very strong in their own beliefs and convictions. I also get the Emperor. A lot of times I read the Emperor, someone who's very rigid, meaning that they're not going to make sacrifices for other people. Like they think of themselves and they're always like 2 steps ahead or 3 steps ahead. They're very, very smart, very bright, very strategic and manipulative as well. So that tracks. Also, she has a short temper. She has very much a short temper. Kurt didn't, but towards the end of his life, he had a short temper too. Not surprising with all the substances that they abused. So I'm not surprised. Then I have the Knight of Cups. I was going to say the Knight of Cups. Knight of Cups. She was into him. She liked him. She also, but it wasn't. Don't get me wrong with what I'm going to say, but he eventually. So, okay, hold on. Let me start this sentence from the beginning. When they first met, she was attracted to him. Very handsome man, very good looking, an artist, a musician. He had it all, right? He had this, like, very much intellectual as well. He liked to. I'm hearing that he was into. Did he watch war documentaries? Because this is what I'm seeing. For anyone who knows, I'm seeing that. Yeah, Freudian. Yes, Peapod. I'm seeing that he was into war documentaries at some point, like Second World War, which is weird, but yeah, we don't know. Like, we don't know what happens behind closed doors. Luckily, we do these readings and we find out some information and details. So Knight of Cups. So he was like the ideal candidate for her, like for someone to, she like from the beginning, from the moment they met, she was like, I'm going to marry him. I'm going to have a child with him. So she knew what she was doing. Okay. And with the Knight of Cups. And she did see him a little bit as remember what I said at the beginning? And I said, I feel like he was a little bit childlike. Well, that part of him, she loved, not because she's motherly or nurturing or anything like that, but she knew that for him to be childlike, he has maybe trauma, childhood trauma, or he's got unresolved issues with his family. So she knew that she could manipulate him through that. So what I'm trying to say here is, yes, she liked him. She loved him. She did love, well, Eight of Cups. Well, she loved him at the moment. It wasn't like deep love. It wasn't, she didn't feel like this is my soulmate and I love Kurt and I'll be by his side. I want to marry him and have a ton of kids with him because I love him so much. It's more the idea of Kurt that she loved. That's what turned her on, to be blunt. Okay. That's what she liked about all this. And that's why she bounced back very fast after his unaliving. His I'm gonna call that unaliving because even when you use the word DEATH too much on YouTube, is so hypersensitive lately. Because look at this, Eight of Cups. She was already, listen, before this happened, and he did pass in April, 5th of April, 1994. It wasn't just him who wanted out, she wanted out too. Because we know that Kurt was thinking of divorcing. He wanted to reset his life. He wanted to leave Nirvana. He wanted to leave the music industry for at least temporarily. I feel it would have been temporary, and leave her because he could feel that the end was coming or it was imminent, and he was deeply, deeply, deeply unhappy and very much abused by everyone around him, including his label. So she's you guys, I'm getting stuff, that's why I'm pausing. The thing about, I've got to say this, you guys, despite how whirlwind and passionate this relationship was, I don't believe that they were, I believe it was that like the first year that they were together, that was like the healthier part of the relationship, and they were devoted to each other, because after that, I'm kind of seeing cheating. Her and him, her and him, her cheating was for different reasons than him. Him was more cheating, looking for an emotional, spiritual connection, something that he wasn't getting from Courtney anymore. Her, it was like, it was sex and maybe help. She would sleep with people that she knew that probably would help her career, her music career, because Kurt wasn't helping, not because he didn't want to, but when you're married to a mega star musician like Kurt Cobain, then most likely you're not going to be as famous. For sure, you're not going to be as famous. Okay, let's see. Now I'm looking at the energy of the relationship. Five of Pentacles. They alienated a lot of people because of this relationship. A lot of people who cared about them and wanted to make sure that they were both safe, healthy, and happy. They alienated a lot of people. They lived on their own little island, in their own little bubble. And I do believe part of this alienation came from her. She wanted to alienate him. And before anyone says that's narcissistic, yes, it is, but I don't pick up that she was a narcissist, or is, because she's around, she's still living. She is a narcissist. just extremely, extremely insecure, very chaotic up here, very unstable up here. Her thinking process, just how she saw things seem very warped. So this relationship was doomed from the start, and they just want to make it happen. Both of them, him too. He wanted to make that happen because he was enchanted and seduced by her. Yes, I'm using the word seduced because this is what happened. You know what's interesting? Before we came on, one of the things that I was picking up was like, normally Kurt Cobain, I don't know his ex-girlfriends, but it's funny. He wouldn't go for blondes. Blondes was not his type. And Courtney was blonde. Interesting, right? And I didn't understand why I was picking up that information before, but now I know why. It's because she seduced him. She seduced him. Um, so this relationship with the Five of Pentacles, the alienated people, unhappy, both of them very unhappy in this situation, but they both made money because of his talents, pretty much. Because I don't believe that she made that much money from her. I mean, I heard a couple of the songs and I was like, and not because it was Courtney. I'm just saying, oh no. Yeah, let me just see what else is coming through. And then we'll get to the unaliving part. I just want to see if there's anything that comes through, anything else that is coming through. Unlike what most people think, what I'm hearing is that Courtney doesn't have that much money. And she didn't after that, because a lot of people assumed, whether they believe that she did it or she was responsible for his unaliving or not, a lot of people assumed that she inherited a lot of money. Also, they had a daughter together. And I'm saying no. I'm saying she didn't get money. So I don't know what that. She didn't live. What I'm trying to say here, she didn't live off of his inheritance. She didn't. So I don't know why that's coming through. And I don't know any details about that, but I just wanted to share that with you guys. I don't know if he had a lot of money, to be honest. Kurt Cobain at the time of his passing, because what I'm seeing is that I don't know if all that money just went poof up in the air because of the substances, because of mismanaging, because people were stealing from him, like his team were stealing from him, and because he was so intoxicated all of the time and so out of it as towards the end of his life that he was unaware of it and he didn't but there wasn't a lot of money, okay, to go around. I remember all of his money went to Frances Bean, his daughter. Probably, but it wasn't as much as people believe, because a lot of people believe because this was Kurt Cobain, this was Nirvana, that they made a bucket loads of money. I'm not seeing it. So there was money, but it wasn't what people assumed. Yeah, a bit went to Courtney because obviously she was raising his child. But I'm just saying it because people believe that the motive, part of the motive as well of Courtney being responsible for what happened to him was the money and the legacy in general. I mean, can you imagine just the royalties? She would have been completely set for the rest of her life. But the answer is no. If it's not the money, because at the end, and she knew that she wasn't dumb, you guys. She may have been like chaotic and all over the place and doing substances and all that, but she was on it and she knew that. Why am I hearing, did they sign a prenup? I'm hearing that they signed a prenup. He made her sign a prenup, which was smart of him. So yeah, for the unaliving and all that. Something else that I'm picking up. A lot of people commented that a few weeks after, or a month, or a few months after his passing, she was already starting to date other men, and she was seen partying, and she was in the party scene and all that. Yeah, she put out that front. Why? Because she couldn't process what had happened. She was in somewhat denial of it all. But this is why I'm saying her thinking and connecting to her mind and her energy is very warped, because somehow she convinced herself that what happened to Kurt was a good thing, regardless if she was behind it or not. We'll get to that afterwards. But I'm looking at the relationship, the dynamic of the relationship, even post unaliving. It seems like she almost like she was living in an illusion, almost like she didn't want to accept what had happened, and she was just living in her own little bubble and in her cloud. So part of it was because she hadn't processed what had happened, and also part of it is because she's good at that. She's good at moving on to the next thing without looking back. So yeah, let me see what you guys are saying before we go on. Am I blurry again? Oh Lord. Okay, hold on, you guys. I'll just, you know what I'm gonna do? I'm gonna exit and come back, and sometimes that helps. Is it better? Let me know. Where's my tech checker, Val? How is it? Hopefully, sometimes it does that. I think it's a StreamYard thing. I wrote to StreamYard about it. Because when I go on other people's podcasts or channels and they don't use StreamYard and they use Zoom and stuff, everything's clear, everything's great. Okay, everyone, thank you. Okay, let me know again if things go blurry. I'm sorry, I should have seen it a bit earlier. So, because I know it's annoying when you're watching something which is crystal clear and then suddenly goes blurry. Anyways, let's look at your questions. And back to blurry. Oh my God, Elvis Police, what is going on? So you can see this is a StreamYard thing. There's not much I can do about it at the moment. All right, there was a question. I remembered VMA, she was under the influence in Tossa Compact. Yeah, she was a mess. She was a complete mess. Did Courtney remind Kurt of his mom, or was she a mother to him in a past life? You know what's interesting? I'm glad you mentioned that, because I forgot to share it with you guys. So when I was connecting before, you know who popped up? Eminem. Do you remember Eminem's first wife? His first and only wife to the day, Kim, and how toxic that relationship was. And Eminem also had mom issues, and Kim was a mess too. Well, that's what my guys were showing. They were showing that there are a lot of parallels between Eminem back then and Kurt. Hold on. Video is okay. We can hear. Okay, hold on. Now? Okay. And back to guys, just be patient with the blurriness. I know it's going to come back. It's going to come back. It's going to clear out, but there's nothing I can do. Oh, I wish there was. So, and you have to know that sometimes energies, and because I work with spirit, they do they do mess with technology and electronics. So I'm not saying that that's what's happening now. Maybe it is. I don't know. Okay. So Elvis says the blur isn't bad. Okay, good. Okay. If it gets really bad, let me know and then I'll jump out again. And you can see it as a little break so you guys can go grab a beverage, go to the restroom. Okay. Maybe we do need like a little 30-second or 1-minute break. Okay, so before I go on, before we get to the unaliving and everything, I want to look at your questions real quick. Okay, we'll get to that. And then we have, what is Alec? How is his daughter now? Does their daughter have a good relationship with Courtney? What was her name again? I don't remember. Can someone give me her name real quick? Something Frankie Bean, something like that. I don't remember. If someone can give her so I can connect to her energy, please. I need to go back to the chat and see where it was. Francis. Thank you. Francis Bean. She got married again. Someone wrote. Okay. What's interesting is that I'm seeing there's a baby girl coming, or there's a baby. She's about to have a baby. When I mean about, not now, but in this year, maybe even. She's gonna, because I see a baby girl around her as well. So how is his daughter now, Francis? Please just let me know if the video gets worse, okay? I see that she looks exactly like her dad. She looks very much like her dad. Good relationship. Oh, she's fine now. She's absolutely fine. Frances seems to have taken a little bit from her parents' DNA, especially her dad's. Oh, someone's touching me. Someone's touching me. I had it before as well. And I asked Kurt if he comes forward to just touch me on the head. He just did. Oh, I've gone cold. Oh. As soon as we mentioned his daughter, we have contact. Wow, I've gone cold. Okay, wait. You stay where you are, okay? I'll need you in a minute. So she is someone who's I have the judgment, which just shows that she's someone who's very hard on herself. She has a hard time accepting love. Maybe that's why she got married twice now. I don't know. I don't know her story. I don't know anything about Frances. But what I can tell you that she's someone who she takes herself very seriously, and she is very hard on herself. And that's something that she's trying to work on and something that she has to work on. I also feel like, unlike her dad and unlike her mom, because they are very watery, very emotional, she is someone who can control her emotions much, much better. And she's not someone who really shows what she thinks or what she or she doesn't really communicate what she feels, just like her dad. She wants to work on processing and understanding before she's able to express it. 7 of Wands, but now she's in a very good place with the 7 of Wands. She is reconstructing her life. She's making big changes. 2 of Cups. So this new husband relationship, or this current relationship, is very good for her. She's happy. She's doing great. There's the baby card. Didn't I tell you she's about to get a baby? Ha! Told you. I was seeing it so strongly before we came on that there is a baby, and that's why Kurt came in. So this is going to be interesting. Hold on. Eminem's daughter got married. Tony Hawk's Tony. Who's Tony? Tony Hawk's son. She got married to. Let's see. Yeah, I did too. Why is it spelled different? Oh, I mean, everyone spells their name differently, but I thought Francis was maybe Francis with an I is for males and Francis with an E is for females. Could be. Talk about the spelling. Anyways, random side note. Let me see. I'm pretty sure I missed a question. Probably did. Yes. Okay. So I answered that one. Me and Star. Okay, and let's get to, unless you guys, if you guys have any other questions, and then we will get to what happened on that fateful night, 5th of April, 1994. She had a baby girl. Well, there's another one coming. She's a baby girl in September. Well, she's getting another one. She's getting another one. Wow, back to back Irish twins. She was born pre-internet day, so we get a pass on the spelling error. Yes. All right, so let's see. Kurt, I need you right now. Okay, hold on. Oh, he's saying it was very, very so I've asked him to show me because the connection is a bit weak. I feel him, but he's not like, it's not strong. But I'll tell you what, I asked him to show me the last hour or so, or even the last few minutes before he unalived himself. And he says it was black, so he wasn't showing me anything. And I'm like, show me. He's like, I can't because it was a blur. I was out. I was just like I had completely disconnected to my body. I wasn't even in my body. So he wasn't, he couldn't understand what was going on and happening to him. Don't forget, he was on extreme dosages. Anyway, let me rephrase that. He was on a lot of substances, a lot. He remembers, I'm just quoting here, he remembers shooting himself, and I don't mean pew-pewing, and I mean arm, okay? Arm, needles, etc. He remembers that, and that's where it goes dark, right? I cannot see anything. He's not showing me anything. But what's interesting is he says, though, even though he doesn't remember, he remembers things that he was hearing. So I'll describe to you what I'm getting. First of all, he's saying there was some kind of alarm, a car alarm that was beeping. He said that was just ruining it was just not ruining, it was he felt discombobulated, and it just ruined his high. Yeah, he's saying I should use the word ruined his high. So I'm constantly hearing this car alarm going off when just moments before, okay, he passed. He is showing me papers, like notebooks, like sheets of paper all over, like on the floor. There's a couple on what seems like a sofa bed. It looks like a sofa bed. And there's a pen as well. I'm seeing a guitar in the far corner of the room. I'm asking if he's alone in the house. Was he alone? And I'm not even seeing. I'm seeing like his aura, but I'm seeing a male. I'm feeling a male's energy. I don't know who that is. because I can't see a face. I can't hear a name. I'm just feeling this male energy in that room, in that space. He was on the phone before that happened. He was on the phone with Courtney. So not just before, but a few hours before during that day. So it doesn't seem that they were together physically in the same room, house, space. But he's showing that they spoke on the phone. He was very messed up. I'll tell you what I'm hearing. He says in hindsight, everything's 2020, saying, I didn't really want to unalive myself, but at that moment in time, I did. So now the next question is, did you actually do it? He says, I'm having a conversation with him because he's trying to protect Courtney. He agrees with what I'm saying, but he doesn't like that. He says that she's worked on herself, she's grown, she's very different now, and that we should help clear her name. But I'm like, clear her name, but we need to know. And he's a little bit protective over her. I mean, she is the mom of his child. She says she later in life she became a much better mom. So when she got clean and everything, she turned everything around. Was she? I'm not getting a clear answer. Oh, my ears have gone. Okay, my head is burning. My ears are burning. My head is burning. I don't want to know how you felt when that happened, Kurt. I just want to know, why did this happen? Why? You had a daughter. He was thinking of his daughter. He said his daughter was always in his mind. He adores her. Don't protect her. Don't protect her. Just say it. I mean, there's nothing we can do. I mean, even if you say the truth, Kurt, it's just going to be out there, right? Nothing's going to happen to her unless someone reopens the case. Okay. I know what happened. All of the theories that have been circulating around that she wrote the note, or she what's it called, copied his handwriting and wrote the note, and that she was responsible for that. She slashed his tires, all of that. I don't remember all of the rumors, but those are some of them that I remember. He says that he says that's laughable. Haha, he's actually laughing. He says that's not true, that if she was the one who did it, or she was responsible. So he's saying the reason why he's not coming out and saying a yes or no is because it's a little bit more complicated. So the answer to all of our questions is, was Courtney responsible in any way, shape, or form for what happened to him? And he says yes and no. Yes, because she said to him some pretty nasty, horrible things to him before all this. She kicked him when he was down. She knew he was suicidal. Oops, I shouldn't be using that word. She knew he was that. She knew he was heavily depressed. She knew he wanted out of his life, not out of his physical life, but out of all of these things that were just adding so much pressure on him, such as the band, the music industry, his relationship, all of it, all of it. and she treated him like garbage. He used another word I'm not going to use, but she treated him like garbage. She said some pretty nasty things, and then she weaponized. He says she did that a lot, weaponized their daughter against him. And he just couldn't, like, if he wasn't in, he was in a very bad state. He was in a very, very bad state. He's saying that he's surprised he was still alive because he was at that time doing a lot of substances, heavy substances, and way more than he would normally do in one sitting, if you will. And he says that she wanted to destroy him, not by taking his life, but she wanted to destroy him mentally and psychologically. And she said that that really pushed him over the edge. That pushed him over the edge. But he wants to make this clear. She didn't do this, in the sense that this was premeditated. She paid someone else to do it. She hired someone to do it. She had this elaborate plan to make it look like he self-unalived himself. He's saying nothing, but in a lot of respects, she was responsible for what happened, because she really kicked him when he was down and he couldn't get up. And instead of her pulling him up and helping him, she kept beating and beating and beating, psychologically, emotionally, we're talking about, not physically. And he's at a very dark point where he had taken way too much. And he said the stuff that he had gotten that day, the substance that he had gotten that day, he had gotten some fresh batch from someone, and it was super potent. So not only had he taken a lot, but he had taken super potent substance. And he says that was it. That was just like, it felt, he said, it is a bit disturbing the way I'm going to say it, but this is how it comes through. It felt natural to him to take his own life at that moment, in that point in his life, the way he was feeling, what he had taken, all of it. And he just couldn't take it. And he felt that this was what's going to bring him peace. And that's why I can't see anything. He cannot describe. I cannot get. Everything is dark before his heart stopped, was because he just completely, even before his body shut down, and when he was completely out, he was out. He just flew out of his body even before his body was left his last dying breath. Okay, so he was out of there, and that's what he wanted. And that's why he's saying that he was so high and so out of it that he cannot really describe what was going on. So he says, I want to make that clear for everyone. And he's also saying, leave Courtney alone. That goes for me, because he knows I don't like her, and that are maybe a little bit snarky. I'm sorry, Kurt, but we're protecting you. It's because we love you, we respect you, that we have this impression of her. But granted, we have to, because he's saying, yeah, but she's very different now. Yeah, she's not all there right now. I feel like, but some fuses have been, but he's saying that she's grown, right? She's evolved from the Courtney of 1994 to the Courtney to 2025. Let me see before I lose him if you guys have any questions, and see. I believe his credit card went missing and was being used while still searching for his body. I'm telling you, there was a male presence. I feel this male that I'm feeling and Kurt is showing me. I can't see his face for a reason. They're blocking it. But that male, that's the one we should be looking at. I'm not saying he pulled the trigger, because Kurt just made it clear that he was so high, he doesn't remember doing it, etc. But he did it. But someone was there, okay, and took advantage of what happened. A man. Let's see. Am I still blurry? Is it back? Can someone tell me? Because that stresses me out. Did he write the note? He did write the note. That was his handwriting, but that note wasn't written all at the same time. I'm seeing that there were parts of his note, like he started writing the note earlier on, even a day before. It seems like it's very fragmented, that the note had different things on it that weren't written right at the same time, the same day. And that's why he says his handwriting is a little bit off. And this is the interesting part. Here's the interesting part. Hold on, maybe that makes things better, I hope. Hold on, you guys. I'll give you the interesting part in a minute. Okay, here's the interesting part about the note. He says that she kind of helped him write the note. In what sense? The talk of self-unaliving was something that they have had before. And a lot of times, I do believe there was a song that he wrote, which was his unaliving note, way before this happened. It was at a time when he was so deep into all the substances and stuff. He saw them as the demon in his life that, brought out all of the demons. Some of the, what I'm trying to say here is some of the words or some of the words in the note were from her, because he had written a song. There were some kind of lyrics, and she used to do that. She would change things, the lyrics, or add lyrics, or remove lyrics from songs, things like that. And it feels more like a poem, that rather than and I'm talking about the note now, rather than a note where you're like, love to everybody, I'm really sorry for doing this, etc. So everyone's saying it's clear. Perfect. So to answer your question, he wrote it, but there was a little bit of the Courtney influence from the past, not from that day. Let's see, have I missed any questions? If you have any questions and I missed it, please drop it with a Q in the chat. But while I'm waiting, just a reminder for everyone to like this video. I know it's just as annoying for you guys to hear it. It's as it is for me saying it every time, but we have to, because me too. I may watch someone that I love, YouTubers and content on YouTube that I like, and a lot of times I do forget to not subscribe, to like. So, and I do, sometimes I'll go back and do it anyways. I don't need to tell him, he can see and hear and feel everyone in here right now. I know. You know what? I'm gonna cry. I wish I had known him when he was alive, when he was here. You know what he's humming? Dun, 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 dun. I can hear it. Just like, a cappella, just his voice, very smoky, like his voice sounds like whiskey and cigarettes. He's saying he can feel the fans' love. Even after all these years, he is in awe. He is so humble. I've got to say this about him. He's very humble, very humble. He doesn't believe that he deserved the fame and notoriety, in one sense, that he had at the time. I mean, they started the grunge movement pretty much. Nirvana did. He's saying he doesn't see it. He couldn't see it at the time. He doesn't see it now, but he loves, and he loves that we're all keeping his memory alive and his legacy and his music. He cares a lot about his music, a lot. But he can feel you and he can hear you guys. And you can, from your home, you can even ask him, anyone, whoever we're reading here, when we're doing this, you can ask, because they're not, doesn't mean just because I'm connecting to them here, they're not everywhere else. They can be in different places at the same time. So you can ask for them to come forward to appear to you, and you can even ask them to touch you or do something that would validate their presence if you need to. So you can do that. I know I'm being very emotional right now myself. I am. I'm just trying to keep it together. Because the a lot of times I don't share all of the details that I'm getting. For instance, in this, when I went back to the day and the time that he passed, I kept getting the smells. It smelled awful, even before he passed, you guys, not because of what happened, but it's like the smell. I can see the room. It's a mess. It's horrible. And I'm just thinking, this guy that we grew up, like almost, well, I didn't grow up with his music, but none of us did really, because they were only around for like 4 or 5 years. But they were just such a stable for my teen years and formative years, actually, that the music and the fact that I really was drawn to this artist called Kurt Cobain. And it just makes me sad, just sad thinking about how we saw Kurt Cobain back then. Okay. And what I'm being shown, the way the way he was living, his surroundings, the abuse that he was receiving from his wife slash partner, whatever she was, just makes me want to cry. It does. What lesson was he sent here to learn? And did he learn it to accomplish his life plan? He said he did. He fulfilled his contract. That was it. That was it. If it wasn't at 27, it would have been 29. And I'm asking him, if he had passed the age of 29, which would have been sort of like the second and feels like the final exit point in his case, would there be a Nirvana? Would they come out with another album? And he says no. He says no, because he literally, all of that didn't go down. He would have just really retreat himself from the music industry for a while, for sure. But he says that was his contract. He fulfilled it. It's good. And that's why he doesn't like it that we talk badly of his partner. He doesn't, because he's saying that that's how it was meant to go down, and that's how it went down. And also, she is the mother of his child, so he left a legacy behind. He left a legacy, his music. I don't know the name. I'm not getting a name. Let me see if I can get let me see if Kurt can help me a little bit, just getting his maybe a description or something. All I can see is curly hair. Does Dylan Carlson have curly hair? I'm seeing curly brown hair. Someone who's tall but stocky in build. Maybe? I don't know if that's him, but that's all I'm getting with him. He's laughing with that question. Who is Dave Grohl? I don't remember, but let's see. He's laughing. He's like, that's a good question. He says, what do I think of Dave Grohl now from the spirit world, or when he was here? When he was here, he's like very complicated relationship, very complicated man. David Grohl, did he says he took advantage of me, but I have no idea what kind of connection they have. Was he a manager? Was he? But he says very complicated relationship. He says this is a man who's very, very rough around the edges. He's saying he's being diplomatic. From where he is now, he sees why David was the way he was, but he's saying at the time, everything is so blurry. He says I was just not. He says he agrees with what I picked up, which was that he was very good at reading people, and this was way before he went deep into the substances, and Courtney pretty much took over his life and his substance abuse and all of it. But he's saying with David, it was a mixed bag of different feelings, and they had a very complicated relationship. You guys, I'm losing his, I'm literally feeling him slip away. So maybe hopefully he can answer one more question. Teen Spirit being everywhere and people loved him. We did. Let me ask him that. Oh, he's gone, but I can still answer it. I'm gonna get some help with my guides here. He's gone. Literally, he's just gone. It was weak, his energy, but I'm glad I picked up as much as I did, and he stayed for as long as he did. He's got to be somewhere else. My guides are saying he's got to be somewhere else. That's why he's gone. Will he come back at some point? Yes, he will come back at some point. I'm not given any more information about that, but I do want to say that he will come back as a woman, as a female next time around. I don't know why. That's what my guides are saying. Oh no, Lady Rivera. He's gone. He's gone. Oh, he was the drummer of Nirvana. Okay, thank you for clarifying. Yeah, that's all they had a very complicated relationship. That's what I understood from what he said, like very like now he sees where he came from, maybe regarding input, music, whatever. But he said at the time it was complicated. Who did? David or Kurt? I don't pick that up about Kurt. Maybe David? Let's see what Light Mission is saying. Dave Grohl was the drummer, now the frontman of Foo Fighters. Very successful, but Dave is messy. Baby mama side babies try to hook up with Francis allegedly. I don't think so. It didn't feel like I didn't feel that there was. I'm pretty sure that's a rumor about him trying to hook up with Francis. Otherwise, I think Kurt that's the first thing he would have said, or I would have felt it in some way. I believe that's a rumor. Kurt. I don't know. It's not his sexuality, it's that's with all that water. Very, very emotional, very feminine. He was very much more in touch with his feminine. We all have feminine and masculine energy. He was more connected to the feminine energy because he was connected to his emotions that didn't make him playing for the other team, or it doesn't mean that he was confused whether he was attracted to women or not, but it certainly brought out elements in him that were a little bit more feminine. Yeah, it's very, very sensitive. That's why I feel like I want to cry. I feel emotional right now. Because that energy stays behind even when they go, right? I feel that energy and I'm like constantly want to cry and I'm really holding back right now. I'm feeling emotional. I don't know where that's coming from. Literally, I don't know where that's coming from. And I believe it's coming from him. I need to pull myself together. I'm going to be listening to Nirvana all day tomorrow. because it's late today, so my kids are in bed, so I can't blast Nirvana, but I will in the car, which is, I'm so into. You know what my favorite album was of Nirvana? You're gonna be surprised. MTV Unplugged, Nirvana, MTV Unplugged. Do you remember when MTV used to do the Unplugged concerts? These were secret concerts for fans, and you would be invited in a small venue, and they would record the albums and the videos of different bands playing playing Unplugged. That was a fantastic album. Fantastic. I need to find it on Spotify now. We're talking. I'm glad you know what I'm talking about. It was so good. So good. Those songs, Unplugged, wow. Wow, wow. Even Team Spirit. I mean, Smells Like Team Spirit. That, listen to it Unplugged. Amazing. His best performance. I agree. Yes, I agree. And his voice and all of it, his guitar playing, all of it. Famous bands playing acoustic, yeah, but that one was my favorite. I think the who was it? Red Hot Chili Peppers, I believe they did one, but I wasn't. Although I love or used to love, I'm not a big fan of Red Hot Chili Peppers. But what's interesting was they weren't that great in that. So Val says I'm picking up on Kurt's emotions. I am. I am. No, I'm okay now. I'm okay now. It happens. It happens. If you've had gotten readings from me, private readings, you probably know that sometimes I do cry because I'm either picking up your energy or someone who's coming through, and I will allow myself to cry. You know, when I mean cry, I'm not gonna ugly cry. Obviously, I'm gonna tear up and stuff, but it's just I feel things and I need to let them out. Yeah. So, all right. I think this was a fantastic read. I'm glad we did it. I'm glad we did it on my birthday week. I'm glad we did it in the Aquarius season. I'm glad we did it. I really am. I really am. Hopefully it puts some rumors to bed regarding Courtney. Not that I'm siding with her, you know what I mean? But fair is fair. Okay. And I I'm not, listen, because I'm a reader, because I'm a psychic, there's no room to be biased or prejudiced when I do these readings. I always go in as neutral as possible. I'm a human being. Obviously, sometimes my emotions kind of like can come through, but I'm professional, so I always try. So we need to say at least that all these terrible things about Courtney and how she was behind the unaliving, according to Kurt, not true. So, and I believe Kurt. Before everyone goes, so we have a few more things I want to tell you. First of all, since I have you all here, there is a video that I'm going to be posting tomorrow, most likely. It's a 2.5 hour video that I've done with Psychic Jamie. You all know Psychic Jamie. You all love her. I love her too. And what we did was we interviewed Preston Dennett and Dolly Safran. Preston Dennett is the author of 30 books on UAPs, UFOs, extraterrestrials. He is the expert when it comes. He's also a member of the MUFON association, which is I don't know what the abbreviation stands for, but it has to do with the official researchers, official people who research UAPs and extraterrestrials. And Dolly being his partner, who is an abductee since the age of 2. She's also psychic. This was an incredibly amazing conversation, discussion, 2.5 hours. There is going to be a part 2. There was not enough time. Dolly was sick that day, and I'm really grateful that she was able to do it. But you guys, I'm just going to give you a little bit of warning if you're going to watch that video, and you should watch this video. We've talked about UFOs and extraterrestrials here. She validates a lot of the stuff that I've been sharing with you guys and I've been seeing in my readings. but she gives a lot more information, a lot more detail. Guys, if you scare easily, if you are right now in a vulnerable space, please do not watch the video. Preston has a very sweet energy. She's very, very direct in the way that she shares information. She gives some information regarding extraterrestrials about what is coming. I've warned you that it's coming, okay? But I haven't given you the details because I don't even know the details. Well, she gives the details. This may freak some people out. Even me, I was like, I was trying to keep it together. Okay. So if you scare easily, if you're not ready to accept that extraterrestrials are going to be very much part of our lives soon, all of that, just skip it. But if you're into this, please watch this video. It is eye-opening. It is incredibly detailed. We talk about, I asked a lot of questions. Jamie too. Both Jamie and I had a whole list of questions. We changed our question. We were like, wow. Drones. We talk about the drones in New Jersey. We've done readings here. She validates what I've said, but she gives a little bit more information and details. We talked about Elon Musk. You should watch it if you're interested about Elon Musk, Trump, things that we don't get in politics, but it is worth listen to that. Underwater aliens and spacecrafts and all that. Is that true or not? We talk about that. So Jesus says, hi, what video? I'm editing. I'm going to start editing today and it will be up tomorrow. So make sure that you've clicked on the bell, notifications are on so you don't miss this video. It's 2.5 hours. You guys, I tell you, if you're ready to hear this, watch it. Okay. And before I go, another thing, Jamie and I at Psychic Jamie, because we are collaborating. I love it. I love her. And not only just as a psychic, but I love her. She's such an amazing human being. We are recording because I know people have asked for this reading for a while. We're doing a Black Dahlia reading, true crime mysteries is coming up. So we're recording that on Tuesday. So that'll be up sometime next week as well. So make sure you guys, you're subscribed, you have the notification on, and you won't miss a thing. Otherwise, you can follow me on Instagram too, because I post on Instagram on my stories when I upload videos or when I'm going to go live. That's it. That's it. My guide told me today that I have a leak pipe on the wall in sunroom. My husband will not believe me. Help, try, tell exactly where. Really big, 7 days. What if that the leak pipe? You should Jam. I'm no expert here, but I'm gonna say whether your husband believes or not. You pick up the phone and you call for someone to come and check it out. Check it out. Okay, don't let that. Don't wait any longer regarding that. Just get that done and get your son to sleep somewhere else if you can, like in your room or the living room. Are you for readings? I am open. Okay, I am open for readings. I have limited availability March, so you guys get in there before I book out for March and then April as well. I have limited slots. Don't forget April, it's Easter time, so we do take a little bit of time off then. It's not going to be a members only video. This one's going to be open for everyone because I believe all of this information has to be out there. Okay. I don't want it behind a paywall or anything like that, even though that would be beneficial to me if I pay, but I'm not doing that to you guys. You should receive all the information. It is. So it's incredible what we talked about it. No, you don't want water damage. And also, if it has been leaking for a long time, it can create molds. And that's super dangerous for your son. So please, today, he shouldn't be sleeping in his room, and make sure that you have a plumber coming in. Crazy, right? Yeah. I mean, you know what? We had mold in my daughter's room, and she was complaining for a couple of days that she had headaches. She's a Virgo. She always has either tummy aches or headaches because that's how Virgos have a lot of psychosomatic, that's how stress and anxiety manifests itself in Virgo's physical bodies. And I, there's, I know what she's like, but something, my intuition said, go check behind the thingy drawers in her room, and yes, there was mold. We couldn't see it because there was a whole thing. There was a whole, oh, what is it called? I keep thinking of the French word now. It's a, like a thing with drawers, and there was mold. So dealt with that straight away. Kept the windows open the whole day, etc. It's the other room. Okay, good. Just make sure that you have a plumber, even if it's just a suspicion. Better safe than sorry, really. Jesus says, thanks, Femme. That collab has to get up for everyone. Yes. Yep. Dresser, thank you. Where are you? There you are. Dresser, yes. Sometimes I can't. You guys, I speak 5 languages. You don't know. Okay, my first language is English, then it's French. Okay, then it's Greek because my mom's half Greek, as you know. I know Spanish and I know German. Now, here's the thing. A lot of times my brain, and especially when I get tired, it's like, even though I think and dream in English and it is my mother tongue, what happens is all the other languages like pop in. And I'm like, my mind goes like, oh, that's the French word. Okay, translate. It's just, there's a lot happening in my head. That's the thing about bilingual and trilingual kids, that we use both sides of our brains, like we're both left-sided and right-sided. So a lot of times there's a hard time sort of finding the right word or forming sentences correctly. It's because there's so many languages popping in. Just explaining sometimes why it appears that I'm looking for words. It's because my brain, especially when I'm tired, it will instantly, instead of going to my language, it will bring everything else. French is my mother tongue as well, because I was raised English, French. My dad would speak to me in French. My mom would speak to me in English. And then when I was 5 years old, I started learning Greek because my maternal grandmother was Greek. And so I had to learn Greek. And then Spanish, because I love Spanish, but I haven't spoken Spanish in a long time. But I did study it for 4 years. I did it for years at school. And German, because I lived in Austria for 11 years. Not much big fan of German language, I have to say. Although I pick up languages very easily, with German, I feel I was just putting a block. I don't know. It's not a language that, when I express myself in German, I don't feel like I'm being me. That makes sense. I hope everyone gets me. I'm a linguist. I don't know if I'm a linguist, but it's just a lot happening in my head, that's for sure. Yes, yeah, there's also the spirit language. See, that's why sometimes it sounds like I'm all over the place. It's because of that. And then it's funny because when I have to switch, let's say if I speak to someone in German who's German, and I have to switch to German or Spanish or Greek or whatever, it's like the first 5 minutes, it's just like, I'm like a little bit like a robot, because it's almost like, how you have the jukeboxes where you like press the number of the song that you want to listen to, and you have to wait for it to go, pick the thing up, the vinyl, put it on the thing, turn. That's what happens in my head, like the first few minutes when I'm switching languages, like, and then it just flows. Donc rien, please. Avec plaisir. Yeah. Christina, you speak Spanish too, right? I can only imagine what your brain fart is like. Oh, it's a brain fart. Polyglot is another. Yeah, polyglot. I'm a polyglot. Although, yeah, are polyglots when they have their mother tongue, when they have many mother tongues, or is it people who speak many languages? Well, I'm a polyglot. Although the word polyglot sounds funny. Polyglot. Ooh. And I can speak a little bit of Italian, but not really. Just like I have a cousin, she's half Mauritian, half Italian, and she used to teach me Italian. So I've picked up words and I can form sentences, but I sound like a character of Mario from Nintendo. It's me, Mario time. It sounds funny. Yeah, if anyone who speaks Spanish, well, I don't know why we're talking about languages, but anyways, anyone who speaks French, for instance, me knowing French and French being one of my native languages, mother tongues, was so easy for me to learn Spanish because it's very much, they're Latin based languages. So it's much easier. A lot of words, it's like boire, je bois in French, and then it's like beber in Spanish, to drink. So it's very similar. Levar in Spanish, to get up. And in French is je me lève. So a lot of similarities. So the languages helped me pick up other languages. If that makes sense. So with Italian, it was easy because I had the Spanish, I had the French. So it was easy for me to pretend that I know great Italian. So it is, isn't it? Italian is a mix of Spanish. There is you know what language I want to learn, and I absolutely love hearing it? Portuguese. I would love to learn Portuguese. There's so many things I want to do. There's so little time, but Portuguese, I love when people speak in Portuguese. I'm like, oh, keep talking, keep talking. They're all a mix of some because they're Latin-based languages. We have Italian, Spanish, French. They're all Latin-based languages. So they have similar words, and the grammar is quite similar, along with some of the exceptions that they have. For instance, in French is it's difficult. Like my husband always says this. He's like, because he did French at school, and he's like, I hated it. It's so difficult. Like, why do you spell words differently? Like, why don't you keep spelling? I know. With French, it's a bit, we have a lot of exceptions. So in German as well, the grammar is, but once you speak it, the French, everything sounds romantic. Your grandma's French? Aw, nice. Even Portuguese. Love the language. Hablo un poquito español, solamente cocina español. Well done, Peapod. Yeah. Yo también. A lot of people hated French in school, and I have a theory. It's because, and when I asked people who said, I hated French at school, or I never really learned French, even though we did it at school. And whenever I asked them, it was because of their French teachers. So it seems that it's like the bitchy French teachers that put people off learning French, I guess. That's my theory. It's like, I wish I was in French class. I wish I was in Portuguese class. All right, you guys, this was such a great live. I love these Sunday lives. It really feels like I'm hanging out with my crew, with my family, with my friends, and I love it. I wouldn't change it for the world, and we'll continue to do this for as long as we can. And I love you guys. I really do. And thank you. The channel is growing. I'm really happy about that. So obviously I'm doing something right now, but it's all because of you guys. It's all because of you. And don't forget something else that I keep saying, but you guys forget. I do this thing called Femme for Femmies, right? If you have a small business, or you have a product or something that you want help to promote, I'm more than happy to shout you out and get the opportunity for other families to know what you're doing, what you're selling, what your business is, and to help and support you. So send me an email if there's anything that I can do to help you guys. Hasta mañana to you guys. I love you all, and I'll be seeing you very soon. So next Friday, members live, and don't forget, this week we have several videos rolling out. Till then, lots of love. Bye, everyone.